Hey there folks, I thought I'd make an actual sharpening video with the Lansky Sharpener system. I made a video yesterday that just kind of briefly went into everything and just introduced that the Lansky could be a very good sharpener for you on a budget. Everything that I've spent here, let me see if I can just move it around. Everything that I've spent here is about $85 or $90. And sharpeners can get very expensive. They can get from $300 to $1,000 or $1,500, or even probably more than that. So this is considered a budget sharpener, the Lansky Sharpener system. They have a couple of different systems, with different stones on their website, but you can get this stuff at retailers through them, and it will probably be likely cheaper to buy all this stuff, as I mentioned in my previous video. But I can't remember, because I've had this knife maybe for 6 years, and I've sharpened it. Maybe last time I sharpened it at the 25-degree angle, and now for some reason I'm starting to sharpen it at 20, and so I'm actually having to reprofile the edge, and that means that it takes 3 times as long as it would be just to maintain an edge, 4 times as long to just maintain an edge or retouch an edge that you've already put on there. I am actually redoing it, so it's a lot more time intensive to do that. But so when you do this, you're gonna want to go with your roughest stone. So this is the 70 grit stone. It just takes a while. I mean, it can be soothing therapy, just in a quiet room, just grinding away at your edge. But you want to start out always by using a black marker and coming in and putting that black marker on the edge of your blade so you can see the progress that you're making. Or if you're grinding similar or not similar to the angle that you already had on there. So we're going to take the black marker and run it down the edge, just the edge of the blade, just like I did right there. It's going to be difficult to see. My camera will not focus up close. I found that out. Just going to take my word for it. So I've coated that. Now I'm going to go in with my 70 grit stone, the most coarse, and you want to stay in the 20. The Lansky Sharpener has a 17, a 20, a 25, and a 30. 17 is more of your kitchen knife edge. It's not going to be as durable as a 20, 25, or 30. As you go up, the edge gets a little more durable because there's more metal there, and it's not as, razor blades don't last very long because they're so thin at the tip. So as you go down to 17, it gets really slicey. It cuts really easy, a soft tomato or fruit. But as you go up to 20 to 25, it takes a little more work. It's not as razor blade sharp, but the edge is more durable. It's more resistant to dulling, and hopefully that makes sense. But so I'm at 20. 20 is a very sharp edge. 17 is even better, but so maybe I was at 25 before, and that's not uncommon for an EDC knife or a bushcraft knife or something that's going to see a little bit more abuse out in the field versus in the kitchen. Now, that's not saying that you're chopping, smashing and chopping through bones. That would probably be a 35-degree angle for a big, heavy chopper on, slamming down onto your cutting board, or, a knife's cutting into a cutting board. But 20. I think it's good, 20 this time. As you can see, I use different motions. I use a rotating this way, and then I come in and switch it around and go the opposite way. And then sometimes I just do the saw and motion back and forth, and that way you can use more of the stone surface and hopefully get through, make this go by faster when you're doing it in the oval motion. I think that works just as well too, so that's why I switch it up. But remember too, you don't want to stay in one little area too long and neglect the other area. So you constantly want to be moving from the back to the center of the blade, to the front of the blade. And you want to pay very special attention to the front so that you don't roll off that, and you can really screw the front of your knife up. You want to really stay flat, and so when you get towards the front of the knife, you may need to slow down and use a little less pressure so that the stone doesn't want to rotate as you roll off that. Very important. And that just comes with patience and time and experience doing this. But so here we go. And I put my little finger up here on the top on the other side. You see, this just has a little bit of float in it. It's not precision, you know, like a $300 to $1,500 one of those really expensive sharpeners. But that's the point. You may not want to buy one of those. It may not be in your budget. You may not sharpen as much as those people with the $1,000+ sharpener, but just it's helpful to put your finger on there to kind of stop that little bit of that excessive. It's not excessive, but there's just a little bit of extra play in there. Okay? But we're going to do this grinding, and it could be anywhere from 10 minutes to an hour. You know, like I said, it could be therapy in a quiet room, you know, with you just sharpening your knife, you know, and just, it's really cool once you do all this, and in the end, the result is a very, very extremely sharp knife. It just pays dividends. It's, you know, can be fun and soothing, like I mentioned. But if you had a very stable table, a very heavy table out like maybe in the garage, and you could clamp this down really, really well. Mine, through the years of using it, has developed quite a bit of wobble on that. So, you know, if this is clamped down, I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. I mean, it's definitely not going to come off, but I would probably like that to be a little less wobbly on there. Again, you know, an $85 sharpening system, everything I've got here, which includes some extra parts the additional parts that I bought, versus a $500 sharpening system. But yeah, so you could use that. I was using it in the beginning of doing this, and my plastic table, it's obviously not affixed to the ground. It's and that I don't want to damage the table really clamping that C-clamp to the table. These are more portable tables. Yeah, so here we go. Back to sharpening. But you'll do this over and over and over and over again until you start to feel the burr. And look burr up online and do some research if you can't comprehend or understand what I'm saying right here with this. It's when the metal rolls over, you finally flattened, you've got a perfect flat edge, and it starts to roll over, you get what's called a burr on the other side. And it's just, you can feel it's a little it catches onto your skin. Just like, I don't know, a burr, you know, it's rolled over and it catches your skin. It's the only way I can tell you about that. Obviously, I don't have it because I just don't feel anything trying to grab my skin. So I have not put the correct amount of edge reprofiling on this knife blade yet. So you just have to keep doing it, and doing it until you feel that burr, or you will never have an ultra sharp blade. That may be one of the things too, you know, obviously with these grindstones being between, you know, $12 and $15 versus an Edge Pro or somebody else that has a $1,000 sharpener. The stones may just be that much better, you know, and there's all kinds of different stones. There's natural stones and there's synthetic stones. And these stones, again, are about $10, $12, $15. And the Edge Pro, the Wicked Edge Pro stones, what I'm comparing this to, those are like $40 to $90. So, you know, it's in the quality of the stone. And synthetic stuff, synthetic oil, some of the synthetic things that they make is a lot better than natural stuff. So, you know, we get what you pay for. But again, I don't want to buy, you know, 6 stones at $50 extra. So I'm going with the $12 to $15 stones, and it just takes more time grinding. I won't make you wait through this. I'm going to stop the video, and when I get to some of the other stones, when I progress from the 70 to the 280 to the going up in grit, the finer stones, then I'll check back in with you, and we'll restart the video. I want to touch base with you. The honing oil that comes in here, if it's a lubricant or it's a cleaner, I think it's more, from my research, more of the aspect of the cleaner. Just put 2 or 3 or 4 drops on there. Boop, 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 boop. Rub it in with your finger, just like this. You can see there's lots of metal particles on there. Use a napkin, a towel, whatever you have access or want to use. Come in and rub that across the stone to try to pick up the metal particles that are left in the pores of the stone, depending on the roughness or the coarse of the stone. Clean that off. It's going to leave a little bit of that residue. So, for lubrication, if you want to call it that. But see how it turns the rag black, and when you put your finger on it and rub it, it turns your finger black. That's the metal that's being removed from the knife edge. So you're just wanting to take some of that off so that you can continue to sharpen. Simple enough. It's been a while since I've used my my Lansky sharpener, so I had to do some relearning. So it's good that I made this video. I found out that I didn't have a lot of success with my 70-degree stone. I was just spinning my wheels and just keep doing it, not making much progress. I don't understand why. Maybe a different blade steel knife would make a difference with a 70-degree or 70 grit stone, excuse me. But so I went away from that, and I found that my 280 stone worked better even when reprofiling my blade edge. So I had more success with the 280 stone. It seems like this is more of a natural stone and this is more of a ceramic stone. Okay, with that said, then I made some progress, and then I went to my 600 grit stone, which is more ceramic type stone. And I could see some results then, and I started to get a little burr on the opposite side of the edge. I was spinning my wheels there for a while, but then I noticed I started again making progress. So then from there I went, I skipped the 120 and I skipped the 70. So which is make sure you understand that. So I went to the 280 again, to the 600. Wish I kind of had the 800 stone, but I would have to buy that, just like I bought this recently, this 2000 high gloss grit polishing stone. So then from the 600 stone, I progressed to the 1000 grit stone. And this is really, really smooth. And then I tried out my new 2000 grit stone that I just talked about. That I just recently purchased. This knife is freaking so sharp. It's probably one of the sharpest ones, maybe the second sharpest one that I've ever sharpened. And it's very difficult to show you. It's a mirror polished edge. And then also too, I stropped it with at the same precise angle as all the other stones. But then I even go a step further and use my homemade strop where I can really get a long pull on that. And of course I put my strop compound on there, the yellow strop compound. Put that on there, just slide it across it, and then just match the angle. How you do that is you lay your blade flat on the strop and you start moving it forward and you lift it up slightly until it bites in. That way, then you recognize that angle right there, and then you try to repeat that angle as you drag it across the strop. You don't want to go extreme tall, what am I trying to say? Really high off, because that could dull your edge if you drag that across. And if you're dragging it across nearly flat, it's not even touching the edge of the blade. So you want to match when you slide it across flat, and you slowly lift the backside up. and it starts to bite in, you got to be careful, because if it's really sharp, it'll cut your leather. You don't really want to do that. So you match that angle, and then once you find that sweet spot, and then you drag it across just like that. Not a lot of pressure. Just drag it across, and maybe 5 times on one side, and then match it. Do very similar, match the same angle, and then go at it backwards at that the other direction, other side of the knife. I stumble on my words. Maybe it's old age. We'll just call it that. Do that a couple times, 5 times one direction, 5 times the other side. I'll actually lay this down. So much easier to do it this way. Lay it down and just lightly, kind of quickly, take it across the blade. Done it. Clean it off. Man, is it sharp. Let me get some paper. I don't shave my hair off my arms because it looks kind of funny, but with bald spots, it pops hair. And I have hairy arms. I'm not even really touching it and pushing it down on my skin. I'm just sliding it across my skin, and it just pulls that hair off. That is sharp. Let me get some paper for you real quick. All right, this is receipt paper. It's real thin. It's kind of, it's a good example of a knife cutting paper. It's not real thick. It's real flimsy is what I'm trying to get at. So let's clean off the hair. Man, that's sharp. So here we go. This is really slow. Slow is, it's easier just to slice through something and get the momentum going. And then to even add the curve in there when you wiggle it around. It's pretty sharp. Well, that's what you can do with your Lansky. I mean, it'd be cool to, have one of those, $900, $500, $900, $1,500 sharpeners, but the Lansky can get it done. And this took about an hour and 30 minutes. Maybe if I was doing it over and over and over again and doing it a lot, I could get that time down. And if I wasn't reprofiling an edge, like putting a new angle on it, say it was a 25 and I wanted to take it down to a 19 or a 20 and reprofiling it, that takes a lot more time to reprofile an edge. But if you're just touching up an edge, these two stones, the 2000 and the 1000 would be ideal. And you could do that in 5 minutes. And just have a razor sharp, mirror polished image. I'm telling you how sharp that is. It's really, really, really sharp. Well, anyways, thanks for watching my video. Hopefully you found this helpful and informative. If you did, please consider leaving a like. That'd be helpful. And thanks again. Have a great day. Bye-bye.